Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And before we fully dive on in, I just want to say I hope everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are out there. And with that being said, let's dive on in and let's start off with this video that got posted by Web3 Judah over on X. This is XRP the Standard. And this is Chris Larson. This is at Money 2020. This was an older video, but it's still fresh. I mean, everything that is being discussed within this video is still fresh, and it still makes sense, especially as we do gear up for a possible major crash in the overall economy. So listen closer to this. We're going to be addressing a few things and talking about it after the fact.
Is 10 years out on the financial crisis, we still don't have the infrastructure perhaps to prevent the next one. And I think this is where digital assets can really help, because an efficient digital asset can really solve some of the key problems in global liquidity. You know, the world's got trillions and trillions of dollars tied up in liquidity just to get around how clunky the movement of value is around the world. If with a really efficient digital asset, something like XRP, again, that's what we believe will be the most efficient, you can now reduce trillions and trillions of capital from being tied up. So you can make those transfers instantly as a bank or as a payment provider or as an enterprise without having to have money pre-positioned all over the world. So that.
And there you go. So with this, you know, one thing that I do want to mention and one thing that I do really want to address here is liquidity, because it's the big thing. Now he's talking about how XRP, they believe XRP is going to be that asset that basically solves these problems and alleviates the next possible collapse of the economy and the financial system. But one thing that I do want to bring up is the AMM, right? The automated market maker. The amount of liquidity that would unlock for XRP is so significant. It will make XRP the most liquid asset in the space. Yes, it's going to take some time for that amendment to pass, but that is the secret sauce essentially for XRP. Also, the next financial system collapse is brewing. We've talked about this. I don't think it's going to happen next year, but I do think that we are gearing up for it. And when I say that I don't think it's going to happen next year, I think that we've already kind of started to see it start a little bit. But I think that this is all self-sabotage. I believe that they have a date in mind. I think that they have a plan in mind. 2025. 2025 is going to be the cutoff date for ISO 20022. That's where we start to see significant changes around major banking infrastructure. I do think that we are gearing up for a significant crash. I just think that we are very early on into the stages of that. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think that their plan is in place just yet. But again, you know, that's me speculating. I could very well be wrong. It's not a matter of, you know, if, it's when, right? When does this collapse happen? Because we know that the system is under immense amount of pressure. We know this because of the banking collapses earlier this year. And we also still know that there is a lot of constriction right now on the financial system. But that's also why we look at XRP. That's why we look at DLT blockchain and, you know, what it could bring. And if we go over here, High Vibes Assets quote XRP Daily, who originally posted this video, but we do see Ripple is solving a $40 trillion legacy payment system problem. XRP frees up trapped capital worldwide due to the lack of interoperability between payment systems accumulating.
So give me a specific example of who's going to use it.
So one of the things we've always said is I don't think banks will be the first customers. We've talked about payment providers, and so we have run pilots out there with the MoneyGrams, Western Unions, Mercury FX, Qualix, a couple of others, and those are payment providers that have massive treasury operations. You know, using one random example, you have a payment provider that has hundreds of millions of dollars of negative working capital because they've taken their dollars or the pesos and they've pre-funded and they've pre-funded the account, so they go into Mexico. Once a week, let's say, they'll wire $10 million to Mexico and then debit along the way. Now, sometimes they overfund, sometimes they underfund. The ability to have real-time liquidity is transformational. You know, the global pre-funded, what are called Nostra-Vostra relationships, it represents something on the order of magnitude $10 trillion. If we can make that more efficient and more useful, we can actually accelerate the engine of commerce kind of on a global basis.
So
there you guys have it again. And it's all about unlocking that trapped capital because, again, the amount of liquidity that is sitting out there just in those accounts, those NCashOfficial accounts, is enough to actually help alleviate all of the pain points within the banking system. But again, we still need something there to transact and convert and settle all of these things of value, because the main reason why those NCashOfficial accounts actually exist is because it needs the reserve currency, aka the US dollar, or significant other currencies held in reserves that are stable enough to settle those transactions that are trusted and secure, and you could actually rely on in order for those transactions to settle in that 3 to 5 day time frame, and sometimes even longer, right? But once you achieve instant settlement between two things of value, say for so atomic settlement between two central banks, for an example, right? It changes the entire game, and it makes a reserve currency useless, because the only reason why we actually have a reserve currency is because we need something that could be trusted in value and could be trusted in these settlements to be there and to be relied upon. Once you have instant settlement, well, guess what? A reserve currency is no longer needed. But beyond this, we actually just recently seen a significant move made by the IMF. I've been heavily focused on the IMF as of recently, which you guys are probably all aware of. Going back to November 16th, this got posted by Tranglo, which, by the way, for those that don't know about Tranglo, I know that a lot of you do. Ripple acquired 40% stake in Tranglo, which is Asia's leading cross-border payment specialist. And then also recently, Tranglo actually enabled Ripple's on-demand liquidity service across its 25 payment corridors. And I think now this might be up to like 50 plus corridors. It's very significant. And it's all based upon, again, on-demand liquidity, which is tapping directly into XRP. But this is very interesting because Tranglo is posting this, and they're quoting IMF chief calls for faster CBDC development to boost cross-border payments. Within this, we do see exploration of central bank digital currencies and financial technology must be expedited to improve cross-border payments. Her keynote addressed the Digital Finance Voyage, a case for public sector involvement at the Singapore FinTech Festival. International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said, although there is progress compared to 5 years ago, industry players need to pick up speed. Some 60% of countries are studying CBDCs and developing regulations to guide digital money development. Georgieva said that there are many benefits of CBDCs, including replacing cash, which is costly to distribute, in island economies, offering resilience in more advanced economies, and improving financial inclusion. The success of CBDCs will hinge on policy decisions, how the private sector responds, and how technology evolves. AI, for instance, could amplify some of the benefits of CBDCs. It could improve financial inclusion by providing rapid, accurate credit scoring. Another is for the tokenization of financial assets, such as bonds issued on blockchains. This opens another door to CBDC potentially in wholesale form to pay for those assets. So they want to expedite this new system. It's going to be tapping in to these technologies that we know about, that we know are disrupting the status quo, especially around cross-border payments. Efficient cross-border payments allow capital to quickly get to where it is needed. Small businesses can grow beyond borders, and households can receive needed funds from abroad. While we see encouraging declines in remittance costs, they remain above Sustainable Development Goals targets, 3% of transaction cost. One way to change this is to set the desirable properties of cross-border platforms from a policy standpoint. For example, platforms must allow countries to manage capital flows and retain control over their money supply. We also need common rules on money laundering, terrorism financing, and data protection. AI could help. For example, AI-based solutions like RegTech could reduce compliance costs. And by the way, this is a big talking point that I just recently started to talk about as well, is AI and blockchain converging to bring about the ultimate solution, especially even around financial technology. But again, all of this is to drive innovation and accelerate it and accelerate this new system. They want to expedite this new system while 99% of the general public is asleep. They don't even know what's actually happening here. And again, do you blame them? Think about it. Credit card usage is at an all-time high. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. People are tapping into their retirement plans to alleviate their costs per month. Like, this is a problem. And again, it's at the same exact time that the elites are planning this new financial system. They're tapping into these technologies that the 1% know about. And it's so hard for that 99% to actually look into these things and do their research and study these things, because they're at a significant moment in time where they are going through some of the darkest financial times in their lives. And again, it's all by plan. Like, this is what they want. They want people to be distracted. They want people to be going through these hard times so that they're not fully focused. It's very hard to be focused when you have a lot of these burdens over your head. And again, I'm not saying that, this is a good thing. No, I'm saying like we are very beneficial in our situations to be able to actually look into these things, understand what's happening, and even invest and have that disposable income to invest into these specific things. Because again, the 99% don't have this, because again, this is their plan. They want to wipe people out. They want to make sure that the average individual is not paying attention, not investing, and not aware of what's going on. Also, another big thing that I do want to jump into is how big Medico is. So I think that a lot of people are confused on how big Medico is. We recently talked about the BBVA Switzerland relationship. Chad Steingraber actually recently did a great post on this. He actually has two posts regarding this. This is the first one. So this is the control panel for Medico's harmonized the digital asset platform for institutional grade clients. This is what it looks like. So scale new business models in the digital asset economy. This is how it looks. You could actually see a Walsh Group equity. You could also see USDC here and Ether. Then you can see the view details, transfer, receive, all that kind of stuff. Over here, you could also see scale new business models in the digital asset economy yet again. You can see the portfolio there as well. You can see the holdings in the account. And then we have Medico, Ripple, store, trade, and transfer thousands of digital assets. Tokenize and manage regulated and non-regulated assets. Connect and embed into all relevant Web3 dApps securely. The more you look into Medico, the bigger the deal this becomes. And again, I've been talking to you guys about this. Like, Medico is a massive game changer. When we talk about the future of crypto, and as we look at what these institutional players are doing, they're going to be tapping in to platforms like Medico that offer an all-in-one platform. And this is all thanks to, of course, what Ripple has been doing with Medico, because again, Ripple just acquired Medico. You can see everything behind this, right? You have direct connectivity to regulated ecosystems, which is, again, full integration of exchanges, custodians, and even settlement networks. You have smart access to exchanges and liquidity venues. You have universal gateway towards institutional DeFi and Web3. You also have scalable tokenization capabilities, infrastructure agnostic and integration ready through APIs, leveraging even possibly RippleNet, right? All of this, all under one umbrella. Like, this is what I've been saying, right? Because I don't think people understand how big some of these platforms like Medico really are, especially to the institutional players that will be tapping into this technology. Like this is no joke, right? Like, we know for a fact that the institutions are here. You have discussions going on behind closed doors. You have the big players tapping into Medico. You have HSBC, BNP Paribas, so many other players that are tapping into Medico for custody services. And those custody services will only expand beyond that. I've talked about it. Once you have custody services in place, you could build upon that. You could go into tokenization, liquidity management, line of credit, things like that. And this is the blossoming effect of having something like Medico, which is an all-in-one umbrella. And at a time where we're starting to see the problems rising around our traditional system, and as we do see the elites talking about how this new system needs to be accelerated, we need to have urgency here. It needs to be expedited. They want to launch this system. Over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to be seeing significant traction on this front. And again, I know that I talk about 2 to 3 years, and I know a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes saying like, come on, Nick, we don't have 2 to 3 years. But I want you all to understand that we're seeing an entire overhaul of our traditional system. This is not going to happen overnight. Now, of course, yes, we will need to be trading in the bull market, taking our profits, making sure that we are setting ourselves up for the long-term game here. We need to make sure that we are taking our profits, making sure that we are preserving our profits, and making sure that we are aware of the time frame that this is going to take. Because again, this is one of the largest opportunities of our lifetimes, especially as we are starting to see the institutional players tapping in to these specific players like Ripple and Medico and even XRP. So again, make sure that you are aware of what's happening here, because 99% are not. They are still completely distracted. They're going through some of the roughest times of their lives, and I'm sure that I could speak for a lot of you out there as well. Like, times are getting rough, especially with costs going skyrocketing, right? So it is rough, especially for the normal individual to invest. It's extremely rough. So that's why we need to make sure that we are aware of this opportunity, aware of how fortunate we are to actually have money on the sidelines to invest and tap into some of these assets like even XRP, and understand the opportunity in front of us. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And also, before I end this video, go and check out the Black Friday deal, 40% off of a DCENT wallet. Make sure that you are preserving your wealth and protecting it with a DCENT wallet or a cold storage device. Right now, you can save $50 on their main wallet. And if you do get a 2-pack, you could save over $128, basically getting 2 for 1 at this point. So definitely go check out DCENT Wallet. Links down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.